You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the Kari Feinstein Emmy Style Lounge at the world-famous Mondrian Hotel on Sunset Boulevard and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV's Dexter Edition. We'll break down Season 6 and get you all the latest news and gossip, including the show's Emmy nominations. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV's Dexter Edition.
Welcome to AfterBuzz. We are here at the Kari Feinstein Emmy Style Lounge talking Dexter, greatest show ever on TV, nominated for 5 Emmys. Now we're also going to be talking to some celebrity guests that are coming through the lounge. It's going to be such a great show. Let's meet our panelists. Let's hear about you.
I am Kenny Harrison, avid Dexter fan. It's a great show. I love it.
Hey guys, I'm Melissa Macedo. Love Dexter as well. Obsessed. What a great season. I'm excited to talk about it.
I know, dying.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm Brett the Body Pinvidic, and very excited to talk about Dexter, one of my favorite shows. Lots to talk about. An intense last season, leading into a lot of mystery for the next season. Who knows what sort of wranglings Dexter will find himself in. I'm interested to see how they write that up.
Yeah, poor Dexter.
I
So let's
know.
recap last season.
Poor
He
mass
finally
murdering
met his
serial
match.
I know.
Yeah.
Julia
Soulmate.
Stiles, I mean, they were like soulmates.
I
She did
know.
the kill with him and everything. So tell
I
me your
know.
thoughts about how
Well,
the season...
I personally am still not over Rita being dead. Like, I still haven't gotten over that. But Julia
Yeah.
Stiles, I was feeling her. I was happy for him. But Rita, that was his one and only.
That probably goes down, I would say, as one of the most shocking scenes in history
I
of
know.
television ever.
Yeah, I was
I
I mean,
know.
the most
Yeah.
unexpected.
I thought it was a dream for like half the episode. I was
Yeah.
like, when is he gonna wake up?
Yeah. Well,
And-
before we get back to that, let's
Yeah.
kind of recap the last season.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on how it went
I thought
down?
last season, it's kind of tough because season 4 was absolutely amazing with the shocker at the end, and
Right.
it was kind of like, okay, where are they going to go now? I mean, you've killed off a major character that's connected to Dexter,
Right.
so where can you go? And I think they handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
The whole rape murder investigation that lasted throughout the entire season was really well executed and really well done, and it's just Dexter's always a roller coaster. The show is always a roller coaster. So I thought it was a great season overall.
Brant, what'd you think?
I thought that, they were on a very dangerous ground because every season that Dexter goes into it, it seems like they are adding more and more craziness to his world, and you start to wonder, well, how many murders can he be sort of connected to and almost get caught on before somebody goes, what the hell's going on?
Right.
And so I was really nervous about this season, being like, well, how many more twists can they throw on there? So I thought what they did with Julie was really good. And it took me into that world so much that I kind of forgot about it until the end again. And now I'm like, okay, where are they going to go?
Right. Well, speaking of twists, one of the best shows showing twists on TV is Glee.
Yes, amazing
And
show.
I think we're
Right.
going to get the fabulous Charlotte Ross
Yeah.
from Glee.
Wow.
Are
really
we getting?
excited because
So hopefully in a minute she'll be coming to join us.
That's awesome.
Great show, another Emmy-nominated show.
Yes.
I know. I'm so glad
Great
they're not
cast.
going up against each
Slightly
other.
different subject
right?
matter.
A little different.
Totally different subject matter.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's going to be
I'd
joining
like to
us in
see
a
it.
second.
Sometimes I'd like to see a cross episode of Glee and Dexter where they share.
One of them
Funny,
have Dexter
hybrid.
do a musical.
I could see that. I could see
Or
that going
Dexter
over.
visits the Glee Club.
Yeah, but back to that season. What did you guys think of that whole storyline with Johnny Lee Miller? Did you think he was a good villain?
Yeah, I thought he was a great villain. I thought it really worked. Yeah. What did you guys think?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
He played Jordan, right?
Yeah,
Like
he was
Jordan.
he was the baddie, the
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
Kidnapping the ladies and
Yeah.
That whole story was kind of like it was out of the blue. I wasn't expecting
Right.
it, and actually the very first couple of episodes, I really didn't know exactly where they were going until we saw Julia Stiles
Right.
in her first scene. So, and it all kind of makes sense, and it was just You know, it was incredible. It was incredible.
I thought that scene when he saw someone's hand at the door or someone at the door was amazing. And opening it up and
Yes.
her just like, it was shocking. She was just in such a mess, and I love Julia Stiles. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah.
And she really pulled through this season. And I was like, yeah, go there, kill the guys, you know, do it. But then Dexter, being the good / bad guy that he is, like saves the day again.
I also found that I was a little leery of the storyline because I thought, like, well, he's this great motivational speaker, he's got lots of money, and it's like, are they really gonna play him as like the main person for the killer? Like, it's so beyond belief, and it seemed not right. But what Dexter does so well, and the writing teams are so good at, is they do it so well that you're like, okay, I'll buy into it. I'm fine.
Right.
He can be a killer. I'm totally into it. I just want to see this happen.
Yeah.
And I
there's-
find that I get swept up in those storylines so easily with them.
Yeah,
It's
there's-
so crazy. Isn't it a weird thing that you're actually rooting for a serial killer?
Yeah, it is weird.
Like, I kind of have guilty moments where I'm kind of like, oh my god, I'm like, kill him.
But at
like,
those-
I want him
but-
to kill more
Yeah.
people.
It is those
I-
moments when he actually does get to kill someone that you're actually with him, because
Yeah.
Right.
he's killing someone that has done some bad
Right.
at some point. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, so to speak. You know, he's not doing well for himself, but at the same time, he's kind of doing justice for the world. You know,
Right.
So it's
I
really
guess
interesting.
Here's a question though. You know, it's Showtime, so it's cable. It's
Yes.
a very selected audience. But Dexter is a big rootable character. So, do you think that Dexter could play minus the blood and the guts on a broadcast network?
Absolutely
Is
not.
the subject matter still
I don't
too
think
far-fetched?
so. I mean,
Absolutely
you barely see anything as graphic. Even the fact that Julia Stiles was brutally raped, and they sort of go into like the descriptions of it, I feel like that couldn't be on. But
Right.
that's what's so amazing about it.
But
I'm
that's
like,
why
yeah,
the
face
cable
those
channels have
issues.
been so important, not just like HBO and Showtime,
Right.
but like
Right.
TNT and USA, you know, all these other ones where they're like allowing for different story content.
Yes,
So it's been great. But I
absolutely.
thought one of the most interesting plot lines of last season was his relationship with his sister and how she was loosening up. You know
Yeah.
how she let the person go?
Yeah.
At the end.
Was she
That
not
was-
even realizing it was her brother?
That was so.
What did you think about
That
that?
was
I'm
by
getting
far
chills talking
that
about
was
it.
by far the best scene from the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simply
That was
because Dexter, he's pretty much caught red-handed, and
Right.
you know,
Which
all
never
she had-
happens.
Yes, and it never happens, and that goes with his dad saying, you know, you shouldn't get involved with this, or you know, from his ghost of a father telling him, you shouldn't. This is not a part of the code. This is what you should do, and he's constantly getting caught, and like almost on the verge of getting caught. And
Right.
that last scene with Debbie and the curtain, the tarp.
Yeah.
Was phenomenal. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think her reaction is going to? At some point, she's going to find out.
I
What do you guys
know.
think that's going to be like?
I don't know, because she obviously cares about him so much, you know, as his sister. I feel like she will accept it, but I don't know.
You think
I was
she'll accept it?
I was so freaked out for that scene. I was like, what's gonna happen when she finds him out, you know? Then the cover will be blown. I think she will accept it though, because she knows him.
I can't imagine they come up with a system or a scenario where she finds out officially.
Right.
Because there is something about the good and the evil struggle inside of Dexter as it relates to her that would be ruined if she accepted it. You know?
Right.
He needs to have that struggle constantly so that we as an audience can be like, I'm okay rooting for a serial killer because
Yeah.
really deep down he's a good guy.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, that's a bit of a stretch, but
Yeah, and like she also, the sister, I thought if she did find out, she wanted Jordan Chase to die so badly too. She would have just killed him anyway.
Right.
Right. I think in every one of us, there's a little bit of that Dexter vigilante.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like, it's not so bad if they're a rapist or a murderer. You know?
Exactly. Like when he went to Tuttle Bridge and to find, you know, who he thought was her rapist, and that guy was talking about like doing what he did. Like I was like, just kill him now. Just do
Yeah.
it. Like if you can, which he can, just do it.
Right. So I think we've seen like some of the best villains ever on
Yes.
Dexter. I mean, we had the
Yes.
ice truck killer who turned out to be his brother.
Yes.
We had Lila, the crazy lady that tried to burn his place down.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
John Lithgow.
Lithgow.
I mean, to me, that I think is
that was
the best of
to
the
me,
best.
that was the creepiest scene ever. The first scene when he's in the bathtub with the girl.
Yeah.
And he slits. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
that was intense.
Yeah.
And now we come to this murder, gang rape, you know, Lumen, who's now become his partner in crime, and he's already learned once before that he can't have a partner with I forget, Jimmy Smits in season 3. But she, she has the secret now. They fell in love, and now I'm curious to see if we'll see her back.
Right. And she's nominated too, Julia Stiles.
She
did a pretty good job.
She did a great job.
She's great in that.
And it's hard to really relate. Like, I mean, the writing's so amazing, but for someone to come in and for us to see liking Julia Stiles even so closely after Rita died. For me, I was like, it was like a mom and dad. I was like, don't, Rita's dead. But their chemistry was great.
Right.
It's hard to find chemistry in murder scenes.
Yeah, one of the things I find interesting, and I'd be interested in your guys' opinion, is that in television, it seems like the flawed hero can be so far gone. If you look at The Sopranos, you have a mob boss that kills people. The Shield, you have a dirty cop that kills other cops for ratting on him. You look at Sons of Anarchy, it's a biker gang. You look at Dexter, he's a mass murderer, and yet the audience completely
But such a
accepts
lovable
him.
mass murderer.
But if you look at the way they do it in the film world, all of those flawed heroes, they end up dying in the end.
Right.
You never have a evil killer survive in the end. They always end up dying. So I'm wondering why on TV is the propensity for the audience to be like, okay, that's our hero. Let's watch him season to season, root for him, want him to do well.
Right.
Does that say something about us as a viewer and our morbidness?
Probably. But I attribute that to the quality of the writing around that character, because Dexter not written properly or Tony Soprano not written properly wouldn't show the side that makes you fall in love with them as a character as well. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, they definitely have those outside of their troubled life. They have qualities that are very likable, like Tony Soprano. Like when he's not being an asshole, he's a very loving father to a certain extent.
Right.
He can be a loving husband. And the same with Dexter. I mean, he's grown to invite people into his life, and you sympathize or empathize with him because he is or can be a normal person outside of his serial killing,
outside
ways.
of his serial killing, he's a totally normal person.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But I also feel something powerful about him is that he knows he's flawed.
Yes.
And he acknowledges that. Whereas Jordan Chase was like, I'm glad, I don't regret anything.
Right.
But Dexter's like, I can't fight this in me. I'm horrible. How dare I? And that we kind of all can relate to that.
Do you think everyone deserves love? I mean, is poor Dexter ever going to find... I mean, Lila was a psycho. That's my friend Jamie Murray, by the way.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Who played Lila, and she still gets stalked every 5 seconds by people hating her. The poor girl.
Oh, no.
She's that good of an actress.
Yeah.
His
awesome.
poor wife murdered. Julia Stiles, who feels dirty and can't live with it,
leaves him,
is probably the closest to him. Who is going to be the woman that he can settle down with?
I know.
That's a good question. I don't think anyone has the answer for that.
Kim Kardashian?
I think they'll probably leave that as an open-ended thing each season, to sort of play that role. Because I think he's explored all the elements of the sort of female gamut there. He's had the perfect sort of quote-unquote wife that he never really could be comfortable with. Even right to the end, he was still never comfortable with that role.
Right.
He's had the crazy lunatic slut that was the wild and outrageous one. That never fit with him. He's had the partner in crime who helped him kill people effectively and knew the secret, and that wasn't going to work. So it's like, I think they'll always be able to have a new person in his life. I just don't know what stereotypical role she'll play since they've played most of them.
Well, what do you guys think of the very first episode of the last season, when they were flashed back into his first date with Rita?
Yeah.
And how he was actually kind of not really on the date. He was actually stalking someone else, his next victim.
Was
I was like, how did she go on a second date with that guy?
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine either one of us going out with that person again?
I'd be like,
no way.
Not happening.
But she didn't know. She had no idea that he was actually watching someone else and preparing to take out his next victim. So I thought it was
hilarious.
Very great.
Do you think
very
he really loved Rita, or she just fit into what he felt would make him feel human?
Right.
I think he grew to love her. I don't think he initially wanted. It was all about a code. He wanted. His father told him specifically, "Don't get involved. Don't get involved." But somehow he kind of fell into it, and I think he grew to love her. And then that love kind of got in the way of him, carrying out his life mission as a serial killer. So, and it cost him her life at the end. So,
yeah, I think it more was than the way they played it was that the life that he wanted was so powerful that he was trying everything he could to fit into that role.
Yeah.
And that she fit into that, and so he tried to mold himself into it.
Right.
And sort of the lesson to him is, it's not going to work.
Right.
You know, and that's sort of the dad that's in his ear all the time. It's like, don't bother trying. It's not going to work.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not the way your life is going to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited for the new season. Now, I'll tell you the spoilers I've heard so far, and then you
Okay.
can each share what you
Okay.
have heard. So, number one, I hear it opens on a really gruesome scene of him covered in blood, calling 911 and saying he's been stabbed.
Really?
That's all I got
Oh.
on the first scene. We'll see how that plays out. Number two, I heard his foes are these religious zealots played by
Right.
Colin Hanks
Right.
and Edward James Olmos.
Oh.
Colin
Yeah.
Hanks, is Tom Hanks'
yeah.
son, who's
Right.
usually like the good guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see him in that role. Edward
Yeah.
James Olmos, obviously, always a brilliant actor, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't be surprising. And then an ex-con that he gets spirituality through, played by Mos Def.
Interesting.
Right. So this is all my insider scoop that I've
Yeah.
picked up along the way.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of all that?
Well, I don't know for a fact, but I know they fast forward a year. So the beginning of season six, correct?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a year later from where it left off, season 5. So all of those are very doable. I know the producers or the showrunner wanted him to get past Rita, so that's why they fast forward him another year. So any one of those, I would definitely continue watching. Those sound
Definitely. I'm really
fascinating.
excited. And I love that religious aspect to it
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like we see it everywhere in the world today. And I love the Santa Muerte stuff in the last season.
Yeah, that
'cause
was kind of creepy, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was creepy, but
It was
I loved
creepy.
it.
Yeah,
It was
I hope they do more stuff like that.
Because it made it just gave it an edge that was that's really interesting. But that, going into a more religious, I saw a very small teaser of it with Colin Hanks and Olmos and stuff. And I'm really excited for it. I definitely will continue watching forever and ever.
I'm just, again, I hope that they come up with a way to make it feel different and unique, and that it's not the same. He almost gets caught. He
Yeah.
escapes it. They
Yeah.
think it's him. It just feels before I start watching, I'm always like, well, what are they gonna do this year?
Right.
Now, so far they've got me every year, where it's I don't care. I just love it.
Yeah.
And they'll probably get me again. I'm just interested to see how they take it to the next
Right.
level, so that he's not just, the medical examiner who
Right.
Right.
covers his tracks
And how to keep the fans and us all engaged in
Right.
that.
But each
without-
season, I always say, how are they going to make it
Right.
better next season? And even though it seemed impossible to follow the death of his wife and that
Yeah.
bathtub scene,
Right.
they still brought a really strong season
Yeah.
together.
True.
So
Yeah.
they must be putting
Definitely.
together something that's going to really shock us
Yeah.
in the next season. Have you guys heard anything?
I'm basically the same thing, but less. And I just saw a little preview with the whole religious aspect, and that's pretty much all I know.
What do you think is going to happen with his relationship with his sister in the next season?
I think it's going to be tested. I think the less that she knows about him, the better. But I have a feeling it's going to come to a point where she's going to start to realize
Right.
what's going on, and now it's up to her to make a decision what she wants to do about it. And the great thing about it is that we're going into season 6 with Dexter. Not many shows can last as long
Right.
and still keep you hooked. So I think they have a really great thing going,
Yeah.
But going back to the sister question, I think she's eventually gonna figure it out, and it's pretty much gonna be up to her decision on what to do next.
I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled her out of a lot of the storylines in this
Right.
next season. I just don't know. There's a lot of more arc for her to do.
For their sister?
Yeah.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised, just because I don't know about you guys. I'm almost tired of her character a little bit.
She's a little tough,
Yeah.
tough to handle.
I
Sometimes.
like that though.
Yeah.
Because she's so badass. I love watching her, and I think she's a great actor. I am wondering what they'll do with her this next season. I also just remembered something I heard. Batista's younger sister, is being pulled into the storyline, and is going to be the new nanny for his child. So,
Interesting.
the old nanny
Good
is leaving.
scoop.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we think about Batista and his boss, his
Yeah.
lady boss? I
It's
forgot,
kind- it's
how did we leave it with them? They were happy at the end.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. They had a rough time towards the end of the season with the trust issue, For me personally, it was one of my least favorite storylines of the show of the last season because I really didn't care about what they were doing. But they're probably workout whatever, and who knows.
I have problems with their storylines too because I was so into Oz, and both those characters were on Oz.
Right.
Were they really?
Yeah.
I
So
only saw a few episodes. It
I
was
still
great.
have trouble separating their characters from the characters they played, and so it never quite fit for me a little bit. I still have trouble getting over it,
Right.
And I find them an awkward combination of the two of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'd be interested to see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those characters got turfed somewhere through the season and they brought somebody else in. Like, I don't think they can continue with Quinn. I don't think they can continue all of those characters because they've already come so close to Dexter.
Yeah,
they've
Quinn,
Yeah, let me hear your thoughts on
Yeah.
Quinn, because that was a very controversial character.
Yeah, I kind of don't mind if I didn't see him a lot again. He wasn't my favorite character, I didn't think, but I liked that Deb opened up to someone. We saw kind of softer side of her. But Quinn I could do without next season, or a little less of.
Well, I was afraid with the Quinn character last season that they were going to do with the Dokes character, season 2, where he actually figures out that I thought they were going to do kind of repeat that, and they kind of like strayed away from it towards the end of the season.
Well, no, he figured it out, but then Dexter saved his ass.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So he's going to have to shut up now.
Right,
I mean, 'cause
exactly.
if he takes Dexter down, he goes down with him.
Exactly. So.
You don't want to mess with the guy taking the blood samples. That's what I've learned from Dexter. Most important thing.
True, very true.
Yeah, I just think that there's too many characters that have come too close to him that when the next thing happens, I mean, you need Dexter to almost get caught or to be swept up in the middle of it. You're just going to need new people to look into him. The way when they brought in Lundy for the murderers, it's like, okay, now you have a new character that's chasing Dexter. And so now between Quinn, Batista, with Deb, it's like everybody's sort of had their eye on him at some point in some weird way. It's like, I don't know how many times you can play that same card. So
Right. And let us not forget Masaka. Masaka, who works with him in the lab.
So, for the tattoo.
I mean, how funny is that
Yeah, it's
guy?
pretty
She
funny.
definitely adds like the comic relief that the
Yeah.
show needs.
By the way, the tattoo artist is from the L Word. Did you guys ever watch that?
No.
Which one?
The L Word.
No, never watched the L
Yeah,
Word.
she's so funny and awesome. Anyway, I recognized her. She's great.
Right,
But yeah,
awesome.
it was hilarious when he had his whole tattoo in the bag. He's just hilarious.
Okay, so
Awesome.
Dexter's up for Best Show, one of its 5 nominations. Let's see, it's against Boardwalk Empire, The Good Wife,
No.
Mad Men, Friday Night Lights, and Game of Thrones. So let's break this down.
I
How's our
love
Dexter going to hold
Friday
up
Night
in this?
Lights. But I
But not
love
best show.
Dexter, but not best show. I would say best acting. A lot of Friday Night Lights people
Yeah,
so great.
and for the first time, all their people got nominated, like
Yeah.
Connie Britton and Kyle Chandler,
Right.
maybe. It was a big year for Friday Night
Right,
Lights, probably
it
because it's their
was.
last year.
Yeah. But
But
also
really-
Boardwalk Empire is another great show.
it's a great show, but it's a little slow.
Yeah.
I mean, Game of Thrones,
I
was-
didn't see that.
I heard it's amazing. I haven't
it's
seen
so
it.
good, it's mind-boggling. If it doesn't win, it'd be like when Avatar didn't win Best Picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, wait a minute, who's got the fix-it on this one?
Well, there's a lot of talk about the fantasy and the sci-fi shows. They never win this category. I personally, I'm a Mad Men fan.
I am
love
too.
that show.
Yeah, Mad Men
and,
is a great show.
and it's another one of those shows. Dexter is a show that builds every year after year, and I think Mad Men is one of those shows that just gets better year after year. And I really think they had a great season this last season. So, and if they win, it'd be 4 in a row. So that would be amazing.
It's definitely stiff competition.
Yeah.
That is difficult.
The Good Wife, I think Julianne Margulies, I don't know if I'd put it up there as
Right.
best in the same quality
Right.
as like a Dexter or, some of those
Yeah.
other ones.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
we-
surprised Sons of Anarchy didn't get nominated too.
Well, we also
Never
talked
seen
about
that.
how the difference between network TV and cable
Right.
shows, and how you can't have a Dexter on NBC or ABC, and I think
Right.
that's why these shows stand out more than The Good Wife or Friday Night Lights, and I think those shows tend to have a better shot because they are allowed to do more.
Right.
You're allowed to see blood and guts, and
Yeah.
you know,
And more graphic things.
Yeah, exactly.
More daring.
Yeah. So, I tend to think that, and I haven't watched Game of Thrones, and I've seen maybe an episode here and there. and if you don't watch it like every episode, you kind of get lost. But I think it's production value-wise, it's amazing from what
I
I
don't know
saw.
anything on TV that's come even remotely close to that. And
Yeah.
just the structure of the story and the writing was just, it was mind-boggling how good it was. So I would be surprised if it didn't win, just because it certainly wasn't built as a serialized TV show.
Right.
They must have gone into it as, this is going to be the most epic piece of TV we've ever put together, and
Right.
here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it has
so
a
it
huge
really-
following
yeah.
already. It's amazing.
Now,
Yeah.
what would each of you say was your favorite season?
Of
Dexter.
Dexter. Ooh.
Yeah, that's hard.
John Lithgow for me was...
Yeah.
Yeah,
John,
that
yeah.
was
Too much.
great season.
When he walked into the police station,
Yeah.
oh, hello,
Dexter.
Dexter Morgan,
Yeah.
not Kyle. I was like,
Amazing.
okay, now this is,
Yeah.
you know, like there's just a few shows that literally at the end of watching that episode, you're like, oh, I have to watch the next
Yeah.
episode. Like,
Right.
I have to watch it now,
Yeah.
you know? And that was one of them. That season for me was, every episode was like, I don't know how they're going to do this. How are they going to fix this?
Exactly.
Right.
How are they going to change this? You
And
know?
John Lithgow as a serial killer is just phenomenal.
But let's not forget Jimmy Smits.
Right.
I mean, that was pretty intense with
Yeah, he
Jimmy
was
like
good.
getting
It was
off
good,
on
yeah.
like being part of the kills and stuff,
Right.
and then taking it to another level.
Right.
Like he's also pretty
Definitely.
interesting and intense to watch.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of his character?
I thought it was good. I think for me, that season was my least favorite. I love season 2, I think, because he was actually on the brink of being found out, and the whole crazy Lila and Dokes.
Right.
That was amazing. But I have to agree, season 4 with Lithgow was amazing. You know, and I don't know who said it, but the season finale of that was by far the best cliffhanger or episode that I've seen in a long time.
Did you think for a minute it wasn't real? Like he was dreaming, he was going to wake up, or
Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah,
I kinda
I
wish
thought
it
it was
wasn't.
almost too much at the end, where I was like, they can't really kill her off.
Right.
Like, that's not really...
But the great thing is that did it not keep you wondering, okay, where they're gonna go now? I mean, what happens
For
now?
sure.
You know, he's too close to this, this murder investigation, and it happens to him. So, I thought it was just it's a great way to end that season for
right?
me.
I have to say, as much as I loved that season and it was brilliant, for me the first season, because I was just overwhelmed by how incredible the show is and
Right.
how the character they created, and that whole season I just was like breathless watching.
Yeah.
So like the season 4 is absolutely amazing, but I still like it's that initial season of
Yeah.
Dexter that just like got me.
Definitely. Great start. And they were, it was just like everything was new then. You didn't know them. So it was like so sick to see like what was happening in his brain.
And the kill room. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
kill room. What do you guys think about that?
I have one in my basement,
Don't we
modeled
all?
after him. Yeah.
Who's tied up there, baby?
Anybody that wants to be. I'm accepting applications.
That's a lot of work, though.
For my Halloween party last year, we turned the dining room into a kill room.
Oh my god.
It was, you understand, like we
That's
put
cool.
plastic
That is
all over the
awesome.
walls,
That's great.
pictures of dead people that the person supposedly killed.
Wow.
We hired someone from a studio and they built a dead body on a whole
Nice.
I
like
want to go to your Halloween
like a
party.
plexiglass. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
But you know what's crazy is like when I watch CSI, I'm like, oh my god, I'd never get away with killing somebody. It's like, dude, crazy.
Right.
And then when you watch Dexter, you're like, I could totally kill somebody. I could get away with it.
Well, it also helps if you're the blood expert who's
Right.
killing the people, too. So.
I always still, even though I know he's not going to get caught, I still worry about it. I'm like,
Right.
what if there's one drop of blood somewhere?
Right.
What if there's
I am
one
in
hair?
panic.
Anything?
In panic that he might be
Yeah,
caught.
exactly.
It's terrible.
I know. I know.
Well, this year I might be doing the meth lab from Breaking Bad.
Oh,
Nice.
love
Instead of
that,
the kill
yes,
room.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
there's
would be
just-
awesome.
Every time he does the kill room, it's as creepy as the last time.
Yeah.
I want to
And
get.
then when he throws the stuff over the bow.
I love
Yeah,
it.
oh,
I want to get
that's
that
great.
syringe. Whatever's in that syringe, I want one of those.
I
Yeah.
know. I was
For like
we should
meetings
all
or
just
something that's
have
going on
one.
too long. Excuse me.
Yeah.
If you talk
the
too
end of
much,
that.
we're going to
Exactly.
syringe you.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that he has this whole assortment of knives, and he usually only used the
Only
same
the
one?
one.
Yeah.
But
And then-
he carries all of them
It's
with
the
him.
special
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case maybe he will feel like changing it up one time.
What do you guys think about the scene where Julia Stiles makes her first kill?
Oh, amazing.
Doesn't she
Yeah.
have like an orgasm from
Yes.
it? I mean, she's
Pretty
like
much.
literally like euphoric.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I went through what she went through,
Right.
I think I'd probably want the same thing.
Oh, me
like I
too.
would want to kill the people that did that to me.
Definitely.
Like I think that's what's brilliant about the show is even when people are doing bad things, you kind of
It's justified.
sympathize
It
or
is,
empathize
yeah.
with them in some way.
Like, I don't feel an ounce bad for the people who are getting killed.
no.
But he's also
don't.
killed people that were sort of periphery to his bad guys, you know, where
Right.
he's made mistakes and you're like, oh, okay, that's okay. It's just one dead person. That's fine. You know? Which is really odd. Like,
But then his whole quest is to go and get them before the police gets out.
Right.
Right.
So I think that's just amazing.
Have you guys
too.
ever heard any stories of like vigilantism coming from Dexter? Like any rise in
I
people
don't
trying
know.
to?
I would not be surprised.
I'm sure they're out there though.
I don't want to meet those people.
You're probably sitting
Well,
next to one.
After,
Yeah.
They
You
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
know.
after us. No, that's true. Like it could be you.
Yeah.
Like who would ever think Dexter,
Right.
the sweet little blood guy,
Yeah. It's
true.
you know, would be running around at night like
Yeah.
hacking people?
Yeah, actually, I have a friend who looks like almost exactly like Michael C. Hall, and I'd always wonder a little bit about him, you know, because he's a big fan of the show.
I had a total geek moment because he runs next to me on the treadmill at my gym.
Oh my God.
And for like months, I tried to stay really cool. I've met every celebrity.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You don't want to be like,
But
yeah.
I was having a hard time. Like my workouts were a lot worse because I was so conscious of him
Yeah.
next to me. And then finally, I saw him at a party, and I was like, "Oh my God, I ran next to you at the gym." And he was like, "Oh, nice." He was just like,
Yeah, you had to.
yeah.
I totally would have been like, is he here to kill me? I don't know.
What do you guys think of his chances? He's nominated for Best Actor.
He's a great actor.
I think you'll have a pretty good shot at it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Bryan Cranston won't take it from him
Well,
again.
Cranston's not nominated.
Oh, right, because Breaking Bad wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't right.
So the field for that
Do you know
category.
the people nominated?
I know John Hamm is nominated.
Right.
Steve
Of course.
Buscemi from
Oh,
John
Boardwalk.
Hamm should just get it for being so hot. Is
Yeah.
what I feel.
Who, Hamm?
Yeah.
I think he'll probably win. I think he has a really good shot.
Steve Buscemi was really good in
But
Yeah.
Michael C.
he's
Hall isn't hot
amazing.
on your scale? He's not way
As
up there?
Dexter, he's hot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're
yeah.
into the
We like
serial
the
killer.
By the way-
If it might have been
Come
that I could
on.
be killed at the end of our relationship, I'd go for it still.
But like Dexter's
Just
one of
saying.
those shows with very few really hot characters. I mean,
I
That's true.
think my
Yeah.
that's kind of also what I like about it because it's like not trying to be like I'm really pretty and a detective
Yeah.
that whatever. Like I like that about the sister too. Not saying that she's not beautiful.
oh no,
but-
she's
Oh wait, speaking of that, what about the fact that they were split?
Well, the fact that
That
they were
married and
Oh,
split.
right.
Like how hard must that be for them to
Yeah.
shoot the
It
show?
made it watching that season when they were married was kind of like okay, they're married in real life, knowing
Yeah.
that they're married and now they're playing siblings was kind
Oh.
of weird.
Yeah, creepy.
But
I kind of forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Made it easier.
There's a lot of shows where that happened, where
Yeah.
people get together on the show and then have bad breakups,
I
and then
know,
it's
how do
kind of
you
like
do
back
that?
to work, make out with this person that you're just divorcing. Or,
yeah.
Well,
So
I-
they're divorced officially now.
they're
Yeah.
divorced. Yeah, and I heard rumors when they got divorced that she could possibly get killed off of the show in this
Oh,
last
no.
season. There were a lot of rumors going around
See,
like
I could
that.
see that happening.
So-
that would
Definitely.
be that would be one great scene to film if you were the ex-husband.
Right.
Yeah.
This
Wow,
is the close
she'd be
I get.
having a bad week, like
Yeah.
divorced and killed off from her show. That would just be
Bad
brutal. Let
Right.
me tell you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what do you think about his relationship with his dad? Like, do you like that there's always these
I'm
flashbacks
so over
with
it.
his dad as like his conscience, or you think that should have been gone after like the
Yeah,
first season?
I'm
That was like 2
done.
seasons. I'm done with it.
Also,
I know the code,
he
I
was
got it
in,
all.
Sex in the City.
Repeat the code. Let's hear. You know it.
The code.
Yeah, what's the code?
Well, the code is, I mean, first of all, you can't get caught. That was his first thing. It's the
Right.
most important thing. You can't let people into your life. That's the most important thing. You can only kill people that absolutely fit into his code. Bad people that are going to get caught by the police that police can't find.
And he has to have proof.
And he
that
has to
they're
have
bad
proof. So it's
people.
like, by the way, that code you could take into your life, basically. But at the end of the day, it's like, I've learned, I got it, I get it. His dad's the thing, but it's like, I do find sometimes it pulls me out of the scene. Where it's like
Yeah.
Ghost of Dad. Oh, okay. Are we doing that type of show again? Like,
It sort of feels
You don't
like
need
a
it anymore.
cop-out now. It's like he can't like his dad has to tell him like certain specifics that I don't know, I'm kind of over it.
Well, we've seen him break the code over and over because he killed that innocent guy in the bathroom, and so I don't mind the dad in the flashbacks, but the problem with the dad for me this past season is he's now going backward on his word. You know, he told him one thing, and Dexter's like, yeah, I get it, and he's like, no.
Right.
It's okay now it's okay to cry, or it's okay to know better. So I don't know. It's just the code for me. I agree that we know the code. We
Right.
kind of
But
don't
I
need.
guess as a dad, like, what do you do if you find out your son has these horrible tendencies? Like, do you turn them
Father-son
into
weekends.
do you turn them into a jail or like a mental institution or?
Right.
Well, there
I
was
mean,
that one
it's
episode
hard.
where his Dexter's son scratched another kid and made him
yeah.
leave.
Yeah,
And I thought that was
that's
cute.
That's right.
You know?
They were
That's
kind of
funny.
foreshadowing,
Yeah.
but maybe
That-
his son will
Yeah.
have the same issue.
Yeah.
Because he watched it, he witnessed his mom being murdered.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that was
the
another.
worst part
Yeah.
about it for me.
That was terrifying just to watch.
That was a horrific scene.
Yeah,
Dead
and I was
baby
like,
sitting in
even,
blood.
I mean, even that baby as an actor or whatever, I was like, that must have been really freaky.
Yeah.
You know.
So, what would you guys ideally like to see in the next season? Like, what would really make it great for you?
I would like them to wipe the clean slate and just kind of start fresh. Give me something that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Give me
Even-
a killing that I haven't seen.
I'd like to see Dexter get caught.
By who?
Even by his sister, but just caught and sort of exposed, and
That's
sort of like the unraveling of it all feels to me like that would be a real epic. You know what I mean? And then you could move it into some other elements with him, but that would be. I would suspect at some point one season will end up being that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys think that okay, we're going into season 6? Do you think this is enough of the series, or would you want more beyond?
I'm still intrigued.
Would you like
Yeah,
a 7
I'm
or
still-
8
But
or
I
9?
agree with you, Brant. Like, I would love in the next season for Deborah to find out. Because I feel like that would lead
Yeah.
to a whole new dynamic in the
Yeah.
storytelling of like
maybe
her
she get
guilt
involved.
and how she copes with it, and
Yeah.
I just think it would bring a whole new level to their relationship. It's almost like he's gotten away with it too many times. Like
Yeah.
someone close to him has to figure it out.
Right. And
Right.
even on the last episode, I kept thinking about the car. Remember when he crashed the car before he went down to
Yeah.
kill Jordan? I kept thinking, well, that car's still there. He can't just like move that. Someone's gonna know. But they
Right.
never really resolved it. But I kept thinking about it.
But I always thought like they could get it where he gets caught, he gets a lot of publicity, he becomes that like the vigilante that people love in the media. He has to do something to get out, and then he doesn't get found guilty, and then he's free, and then now he has to deal with the public. He gets fired.
I think that would be a different
You
show.
know? I think
don't
it'd be
think
cool.
that would be Dexter anymore.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine that season after season he's the ME that just somehow keeps being almost connected
But that's
to all
what
these
we want,
wacky
right?
murders. Yeah, we do.
We
That's the
want him
thing.
to be the victor because he's our hero, and even though he does bad things, we want him to come out on top.
Right.
But I agree. There's something has to change.
You know, I think it's good for another 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah. I think creatively, I think that would be the
Yeah,
best.
definitely.
That would be a big move.
It's had
Yeah.
a long run anyway so far.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's one of those things. I don't know if you guys watch Weeds.
Yeah.
Weeds, the first couple of seasons were absolutely amazing, and now it's kind of getting to the point where, okay, what more can we do?
Right.
Like every season now, she's on the run, she's on the move. So
Right.
it's just
It's kind of, we've
how do
seen
we
it.
keep it fresh?
Yeah.
And I remember from that show, it was strictly a dark comedy. Now it's more moving into like a Seinfeldish kind of like slapstickish kind of comedy.
Right.
So we need something new, something fresh from
Right.
Dexter. I still will watch it. I think it's a great show.
Yeah, they haven't
It's a
really
great
said how
show.
many more seasons they're doing.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
haven't.
know, exactly.
Well, it'll depend on the ratings too. If the ratings continue to do well, there'll be more seasons. You can be sure they will come up with new
We're-
things to fit in there.
We were talking about Breaking Bad yesterday, actually, and how this next season may be the last season. And I'm okay with that because there's so much you can do with a show. You know what I mean? I mean, the more you drag it out, the longer, the more it becomes less interesting. So,
Yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of
let's-
something
yeah.
interesting, I think we're going to be
Let's
joined
introduce our
by someone
guest.
from a fabulous boutique,
there we
from
go.
the Dari Boutique.
Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
Good.
Rachel. This is our panel.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
from Dari Boutique.
So tell us about Dari Boutique.
I'm located in Studio City, California. The store has been there 12 years.
I've actually shopped there many times.
You look very
Yeah.
familiar.
It's a really good store. Like, it has
Thank you.
I actually got my favorite bangles that I have with the hanging charms.
I
them.
knew you looked
And you
familiar.
know who told me? I did a shoot with Jessica Simpson, and she told me she had just come from your store.
Yes, she's very
Yeah,
good
it's
to
a great
us.
store.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, I feel
Thank
out of the
you.
loop now.
Yeah, we all gotta go.
Now you need to come.
What street is it on?
It's on Ventura Boulevard.
cool.
It's a block and a half west of Laurel Canyon. And we just started carrying a little bit of men's as well, which is new for
Okay,
us.
you're taken care of too,
So you
Brant.
guys can come now. and it's contemporary, a lot of local designers, and a good group of girls. We work there, and we just have fun and play with clothes all day.
So so you think some of the trends are going to be on the red carpet?
For some reason, I'm feeling a lot of bold color, like blue, like bright, bold colors, because a lot of that's coming out for fall anyway, so it usually kind of follows as I'm wearing blue trim jacket.
Yeah. Actually, Jessica Pastor, one of the big celebrity stylists, told me blue as well.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I like to.
Well, she said blues, but also soft colors.
Yes. Like if it's going to be color, it's going to be bold, I
and
think.
I heard red.
Yes.
Can't do red carpet without red, right?
Or like coral red, like an orangey coral red.
And red, that ties us all back to Dexter, too.
Yeah.
Blood.
There you
Is it
go.
blood red in the dresses? So what are some of the hot items we're going to see coming up?
For fall?
Yeah.
A lot of leather leggings, color leather leggings, like emerald green, dark red, and then, pairing it with like super basic on top. A lot of like bright color shoes. And a little bit of like Navajo Santa Fe print is very big in like wool coats and wraps and scarves.
What about for the boys?
Boys. I always feel like boys kind of stay like consistent throughout. But you guys are lucky because you don't have to replenish. You don't have to like stock up on new stuff.
Right.
Like us girls.
Well, that's fun. I can't wait to come back in the store and see all the
Yeah,
great
come
things
in
that
and
you
Are
have.
you a
Yes.
Dexter fan?
I have watched it, but I live alone and I'm kind of scared about watching it. Like, it's
scary, right?
It is
Yes,
scary.
it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have watched it. I don't follow it because I live alone and I get too scared because I feel like something. I relate it to like what can really happen in everyday life.
In a
Absolutely.
Dexter world, you'd be safe.
True.
Unless you've done some bad things.
True.
Were you a bad girl?
No, I swear, I'm a very good girl.
Okay, well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
in.
me. It was nice
Thank
meeting
you.
all of
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Good luck.
Bye.
Wow, it's fun.
Yeah.
Dexter is scary. I've actually talked to several people who say they can't watch it. It's just too scary, too creepy,
Right.
too graphic, too much.
So we have
We can
someone
book
coming
you
in
while
right
we're
now.
watching
The big
Dexter.
C,
Hi.
Reed
Reed
Scott.
Welcome to the Dexter
Hello,
panel.
Reed.
This is the Dexter panel? I love Dexter.
Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Reed Scott. I'm an
Big
actor
C.
on the Big C. Yeah, thank you.
the doctor is in the house.
The doctor's
Yeah.
here.
I met
It's a
you with
great
Jamie
show.
Anderson.
That's right.
Rachel.
Yeah, good to see you
All
again.
right,
How are
good
you?
to see you
I'm
too.
great. Thank you very much.
I just finished watching like 8 in a row of the Big C. It's
fun, right?
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Great.
amazing.
What scoop can you give us?
God, what scoop? Everyone always asks me that. I'm never sure, how tightly my hands are tied with
Is
this.
she gonna live?
Even we don't know that, honestly.
Really?
That's a big secret. I mean, that's
Well,
one of
it
the
would
things that we all
sort
love
of
about it.
hamper the ability for this series to continue if she didn't.
Right.
Right.
I'm just guessing.
One of the cool devices
Like
about the
Dexter
show
getting caught.
that I think is so smart is that they've decided that each season of the show is a season in nature. So the first season was fall,
yeah.
then we go into winter, and then summer. So, if this show goes on for 7-8 years, it'll actually only be a couple years in time.
See?
So it's, it's possible that she
really
could be around for the whole thing.
interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really
And so,
smart.
what else are you working on? Lots of
I'm
fun
just
stuff,
a-
popular show.
Some fun stuff. Yeah, I got a couple movies coming out. One called Losing Control, another called Missing William.
I miss William.
Dude, I played William, so I was terribly missed.
So are those comedies or dramas or what kind of thing
Losing
are you
Control
doing?
is a very kind of lighthearted romantic comedy.
Right.
Really fun, really nerdy. I play like a Chinese language expert, which is so weird because I don't speak any other language
Okay.
except terrible English at that.
Right.
And then Missing William is kind of a thriller, sort of like a psychological, but also kind of a romantic thriller.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now,
When are they coming
Laura
out?
is nominated, right?
She is.
So-
We're all pulling for our girl.
It's going to be amazing. Is she
Yeah.
so excited? Have you talked to her?
I have. She's such a pro, and she plays her cards really close to the vest. I know she's always honored by this stuff. I can never quite tell if she really gets excited about it because she's just the consummate professional. She's very down to earth. So I'm sure she's excited though.
Yeah.
One,
Didn't
one
you
of my
get to make
favorite, one of my favorite scenes, was the scene where your character and her character go shopping. Well, you're going shopping for a house.
For the house?
And that was by far the funniest scene from that.
Oh.
What is it like, is the set lighthearted or is it like,
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, it's an unusual set from a lot of TV in that Laura, she's got a huge presence on Broadway. You know, she's been around forever. She's an incredible stage actress. And she's also one of the executive producers in the show, so she's made a point of hiring a lot of incredible New York theater, directors, producers, set designers, costume designers. And the theater community they're wonderful. It's all really warm. Everyone kind of knows each other. It really is very much of a family atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. It's a great set to be on.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Hopefully she'll bring you, Doctor, back instead of Alan Alda, right?
I know, it's kind of being replaced for a season by Alan Alda is flattering, though.
All
He's
right, well,
awesome.
thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you for having me.
Good
All
to
right.
see you
Thanks,
again.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
We get a picture.
Can you get a picture?
Yeah, let's get a picture of our guy.
Picture.
Wait, should we stand or?
No, we should just squeeze in.
We're gonna stand or sit.
Stand it? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so I
Okay.
think that about wraps up our
I'd say
Dexter
that.
special.
Yeah.
Any
It
last
does.
thoughts before we head out?
I'm excited to see the next season.
Yes.
See who wins at the Emmys.
I hope Hall wins. He's really good. I think John Hamm will win, but my fingers are crossed for our boy
And let's
Dexter.
put the Dexter karma out there.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see, flash forward a year.
Yes.
I think that they did that on Desperate Housewives, and I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
It'll
they've got
definitely
some.
work.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
They do
great.
need to wrap some loose ends, so that is a nice way to do it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks everyone
All
so
right,
much for
thank
being
you.
here.
Very fun.
Looking forward to the
Thanks,
new
guys.
season of
Buzz you
Dexter.
later.
Buzz you later.
Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye.
watching
Till later.
AfterBuzz.
Johnson.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
AfterBuzz TV.